Okay. So yeah, this week I did two sections. So I finished I turned this one in JSON last week. And so this week I worked on the Ajax, which is calling, Ajax stands for asynchronous JavaScript in XML. So it's a web development technique, uses web technologies on the client side to create asynchronous web applications. With Ajax web applications, you can send or retrieve data from a server asynchronously without interfering with the display and behavior of the existing page. So basically, Ajax is just a really great way to request information without messing with the overall look of the page. So in this case, we were supposed to go through how we use Ajax to call a JSON. Put here, one of the cornerstones of modern web application is the behind-the-scenes asynchronous data communication between the server and JavaScript running the code in the browsers. While in Ajax, the X stands for XML. In reality, many applications send data formatted in JSON. In most cases, more convenient than sending XML. So for the example I used, you can take a JSON file. I just used the one that I created for last week's assignment. So you can take a JSON file like that, and then in your HTML, how you call upon it, you'll do something like this. So you create the HTML, you got the text, and you create a script, and then you save your Ajax file as ajax.js. So your HTML on your page will look something like this. And so it's just a really basic page there. Then in your Ajax, you need to create a file like the ajax.javascript. You create a function, ajax_get, to call the JSON, and then you call it like this. And so this would be like the basic code you would use. We got an ajax.get, and then you put the examples in there to call the JSON document, the title of the file, and then the title again here. And so all I did for this week is I just did a real basic example. So like when that opens up, you can see here, we're going to load the data, and it just literally all it does is pull up just a very basic JSON file. So let me show you here on the coding. So yeah, all I did was just do a really basic, this is just the Ajax to grab it, and then it's just a really basic JSON file where it just does my name, the age, and then the sex. So yeah, that's what I did for that one. Any questions or anything? Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, it's sort of similar to what I did.
Cool. Okay, and then, so the other one I worked on this week was a local storage. So this one, it seemed like it was mostly focused on APIs. But in this case, there's an API, like what I put here in app development, there comes the need to collect the information and store it from the user and then call upon that information later. And so I go through a few examples: APIs, arrays, associated arrays, and objects. Some of these we've already gone over previously, but so an API is a set of functions and procedures allowing the creation of an application that access the features of data for an operating system, application, or service. So how you use an API is a specification. It can take many forms, but it includes specifications for routines, data structures, object classes, variables, and remote calls. So you see a lot in Windows, ASPI, stuff like that. So JavaScript is one of the most common ways to collect data, and so you can accomplish using an array. So an array is an object that lets you store multiple values in a single variable. It stores fixed sequential collection of elements of the same type. An array is used to store a collection of data, but it's often more useful than an array is a collection of variables of some type. So you call the array, so I just did a really basic one here, array of fruits. There's 3 different things in there: an apple, an orange, and a mango. So the difference between an array and an associative array, they're dynamic objects that the user redefines as needed. When you assign the values, it keeps in the variable type array. The array is transformed into an object, and it keeps those attributes in the measure for the array. And so like an associative array would look like this. And so it just divides the 3 out and then breaks it out into 1, 2, and 3. So, and then objects we've done before, let's go over again real quick, but they're things that you first, in designing a program, that you need to use as a code, and eventually derive from the process. In between each object is made a generic class of objects, or more generic classes are defined so that the object can share models and reuse the class definition in the code. Each object is an instant of a particular class or substance in the data. So this one I used before, but you just create the object. A person would be the object, and then there's a bunch of information that appears being a human, and so it creates that person object. So again, in the JSON example that I used, here's just the basic one that I did for some local storage. So what I did on this one is I just created a really basic JSON to where you call up some ice cream. You can store the data. So for example, it comes in and somebody says, choose your ice cream. I want an ice cream cone and I want it to be cookies and cream because that's the best. And we're gonna do 2 scoops, 3 scoops because I'm fat. And then you click on here and it brings up your scoops and it says, and it saves it here. So it created this array that I've got a flavor, cookies and cream. And so if I wanted to, I could reload that order. If you come back later, go away from the web page, come back, you can reload that one and do it again. Or if you, once you're done with it, then you just throw it away and it says thank you for your order. So it's just a really basic way of storing data from a user. Yeah, so I hope that's enough. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Cool. All right, so I'm going to switch over here then. Okay, so we go over manage participants. I'm going to make you the host. All right, and you should be able to share your screen now.
All right. All right.
Nice, I see it. That's a cool backdrop. Where's that?
That's Los Angeles.
Oh man.
That's downtown LA.
Yeah, I recognize that now. Cool.
Yeah, my example is the same as the Ajax one. You click on one of these files and it shows you. It's supposed to show you the population.
Okay.
The top 10 cities that are super populated. And yeah, and this one, wait a minute.
No worries.
Let's see, there you go. There you go. You just type in the file and it just loads it.
Cool.
Name, last name, major.
So is that how you called it? Is that what you did there?
Yeah, I'll show you the code right now.
Cool.
So I was trying so many things.
Yeah,
Everything
right?
was getting crazy, but
Yeah.
I think these are the simplest examples I could explain.
Okay.
Let's see, here's the function for the second one.
Yep.
Here you make the request and you store it in a variable right here.
Yep.
The onReady state change is basically calls whenever. How to explain this? Well, if it gives you here's the error if it doesn't.
Oh yeah, if it doesn't find it, okay.
Yeah, and then I think it has like 5 different states. If it's like 0, it means it's not ready.
Okay.
If it's 3, I think it's like loading. And if it's 4, it's like, oh, okay, it's loaded. So if it's loaded, you continue here. Here you just parse the JSON.
Yeah.
You format it here so it doesn't look like, oh, JSON-y.
Yeah, right.
And you make the call right here. And here's the other example I have where you just click on the different cities or countries.
It retrieves that data using the JSON. Is that what it's doing?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I see it there. And so you created a different JSON for each of those, huh? That's cool.
Yeah. And right here, I tried to call like an API.
Yeah.
Like a web API, but it really wasn't working. So I just scrapped that idea.
I'll have to share the code with you. I was actually able to do it for one of my classes last year, if you want to see it, to do the weather API. So if you want to make me host again.
Sure, how did I do that? Oh, stop sharing?
Yeah, go to, let's see, go to, let's see if I can manage the host now. I'm going to participants. I think you have to go to participants and then click on my name and then just put it set as host.
Let's see. Go to more.
Yep, on more and then
And
set
make
as
host.
host. Yep. All right, and let me share that screen again. And I'll send this code over to you because I did it last year for one of my classes and the API was kind of cool. All right, so let's see. If I go back here to GitHub, I think it was weather. Yeah, on the weather page we did it. So we created this JSON, the JSON weather is what we had to do to create it. And I think, let me move that out of the way. So we use the service, this one here, Weather Underground.
Okay.
So I'll send this over and share it with you. The only thing you need to do is create a unique key. I think it's this one right in here. But you set up an account with them and create a unique key, and then it gives you a new key right here, and then it'll give you a different, you can obviously change it for whatever weather you did. So I did San Francisco because that was where my fake weather page was for. But so yeah, you're going to change your key to this one, and then you'll change that to the correct location you want to do, and then you can put the weather in there. So I'll share this with you. It's just something that they, all this code BYU Idaho provided for me. So I don't think we're doing anything underhanded or anything. So it just kind of goes you through and takes you through how to kind of create the XML. And then I'll be right there, Colin. Oh, hold on a second. Thanks. Thank you, Colin. Yeah, and so I'll share this with you because then you can get that working because it's kind of cool. It was so hard to figure out when I did that last time for the one just to go through. I mean, I literally spent hours just trying to figure out the current weather.
Me too. I was like, oh man, I'm not gonna have time to cover anything else.
Yeah, it's so crazy. So I'll send that code over to you once we're done because I think I still have that JavaScript file in my one. So it's just the weather.javascript is the one I use, and I still use it to this day for weather information on our local website. It's just really handy one to have. So
Thanks, brother.
Well, no worries. Cool. Well, everything else going good? Anything else you need help with? Or?
No, just other classes. I'm taking exams. I've been studying for that and trying to do this.
Yeah. Well, are you in your last semester? Are you getting close? Or how much do you have left?
Just one more year.
Oh, that's exciting. This is my last one. I can't wait to be done, dude. Yeah.
Finally, the Odyssey.
No, it's cool. So how's the weather in Rexburg? It's all right?
It was cold. Now it's just windy.
Okay.
Just windy, really, really windy.
Yeah, I hear you. Is LA home for you? Is that where you're born and raised?
Yeah.
Okay. I grew up in Ventura. I don't know if you know where that's at.
Yeah, it's more greater Los Angeles area.
Yeah, I grew up just right there in Newbury Park. So I live in Vegas now. I've been here for 16 years. So it's home, but sometimes I miss LA.
Yeah.
All right, cool, man. Well, I will get this uploaded to the YouTube page and then send you over the link so you can do your deal and get that uploaded. And then Friday works great for me too. So if you want to just plan on meeting every Friday, that gives us the week to kind of put our code and stuff together. Does that work for you, or would you rather do Wednesdays?
Yeah, Friday's pretty good.
Okay, sounds good. Well, let's just plan on Friday mornings at 10 o'clock then, and we'll just knock this out and get it done.
Yeah, you got it.
All right, sounds good, man. We'll see you later.
All right, later.